Hi, it's Kamon Reynolds. Let's make some pollen sub. We're not going to do all the mixing tonight. One, because unless you want to listen to about 3 or 4 minutes worth of mixing, there's no reason really to do it. That's the easy part. We're just going to talk about the 4 ingredients, and we're going to do another video, actually a couple videos in relation to pollen sub, because there's a lot to talk about, whether it's small hive beetle problems with pollen sub, some of the myths that you've been told, that I was told. We're going to be busting some more myths because there's so many of them in beekeeping. We're going to be talking small hive beetles. We're also going to be talking about application. We're going to be talking about a lot of things and what pollen sub can do for your bees and the variables that go along. I really like UltraBee. Now, I've used Bee Pro, Mega Bee, Feed Bee. I've used several other types as well. I'm pretty sure all of them will work. I just like UltraBee, one, because it works really good for me, and two, I can get it cheaply, so that's a big plus. So the main ingredient that we're going to be using is actually sugar for this recipe. We're going to have 21 pounds of sugar. Now, we're making a bucket of sub in this video, so for those of you who need less of it, we have a video. I will be leaving the link below in the description, and you can watch that, and it will show you how to make 4 pounds. This recipe right here will make over 40 pounds per bucket. So you're going to have, which we already have in here, 8.5 pounds of water, and this water is near boiling. That just helps it mix better. Now, this right here is not set up. It's really hot. Not all the sugar crystals and everything has really saturated, and everything just hasn't mixed in good together. So it takes about at least half a day for it to set up properly. And I find that depending on the water source that you use, you'll have to tweak the recipe just a little bit. If it's on the thin side, just add a little bit more pollen sub to the mix. If it's a little bit on the thick side, then add a little bit more of the vegetable oil. So what we're going to do, we got the 8.5 pounds of water, 21 pounds of sugar, and then just pour this in there. Like I said, we're not going to be doing all the mixing because the early part of the mixing is real easy. Oh, what fun. Alright. Now, one of the things that you want to do is make sure that you mix the oil in before the pollen sub. So there's 3 cups of vegetable oil. Alright, so if you may have noticed that you probably should have already turned your volume down a little bit at this point. So we have the 21 pounds of sugar, we have the 8.5 pounds of water, and now we have the 3 cups of vegetable oil. Now, the part that we're not going to do all the mixing for is the pollen sub, of course, which is UltraBee, and that for this recipe requires 12.5 pounds. So I've got it all measured out right here. This is one of the first ones we did right here. It's already starting to thicken up a pretty good bit. It's going to get a little bit thicker than that. But if you need to make big batches, that's all you have to do. But it is much easier if you do it in the order that I gave you, which is water, then the sugar, and then the oil, and then the pollen sub. So you can mix a bunch at a time, and you can make it into patties and then stick them in your freezer. You can stick the whole bucket in the freezer. That works really good. I find that usually after about 10 to 14 days I start getting a little bit of mold on the top if I haven't used it, which our buckets hardly ever get that old. Maybe towards the end of the season when we stop feeding there's a little bit left over. But as long as you dig underneath the mold and you get to that stuff, usually it's pretty good as long as it's not really, really old. But if you stick it in the freezer, it'll last a long time. I'm sure if you stuck some in the fridge, that'd prolong their life. You also can mix some lemongrass. That's one of the reasons why I think UltraBee does so good, is that they actually mix a little bit of lemongrass into it. And the way that Laurel's got this camera set up right now for the lighting probably makes me really short, so I don't really appreciate that. We already have short problems. Don't shake your head at me. But anyways, I really like the UltraBee. You can get it at Man Lake. You can also get it off of Amazon. Bee Pro, all that stuff works. A lot of people ask me why I jump and spend more money for the UltraBee, and I really believe that it is one of the better products on the market. And I think in my opinion, it is the best product on the market. My bees respond really well to it. And the main thing, during the summer when small hive beetles are hitting their peak, you want a pollen sub that they're going to consume quickly. And I think the UltraBee is a little bit more attractive to the bees. So the more attractive it is, the quicker they're going to consume it, and the quicker they consume it, the less damage that small hive beetles can do. And we're going to be showing you a pretty neat tip that's going to help you eliminate any little bits of larvae that you may get into a patty. But the main thing is always have a strong, healthy colony. We'll be showing you a lot more small hive beetle stuff, more patty stuff. I could show you how to mix it, but all you got to do is basically hold that drill and drill, and all that fun stuff. So anyways, thanks for watching the video. We're going to finish this up and get to bed.